Welcome to Fighting Stats, the ultimate channel for MMA fans who love statistics and betting breakdowns. I'm your host, Art C, and I'm here to get you ready for the upcoming UFC fights. In this series, I'll be watching tape and providing my real time analysis on how I think the fights are going to go. I'll be watching for fighters' strengths, weaknesses, tendencies, and overall strategies, pairing that with Fighting Stats' exclusive UFC stats not available anywhere else to give you a prediction on how I think the fights are going to go and ultimately who's going to win. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Fighting Stats. Welcome back to Fighting Stats. All right, so my name is Art C, and today we are going to be breaking down the middleweight championship fight between Mr. Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. Again, this fight happening at UFC 297 in January 2024 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So we taped the Dricus Du Plessis side and his UFC run, and we taped the last 6 Sean Strickland fights. And I'm here to give you my breakdown and how I think the fight's going to happen. All right, so I'm just going to do a quick recap in terms of how they got here, what I saw in those fights. So starting with the Dricus Du Plessis side, I think he opened up fighting Marcus Perez first. We saw a spinning back fist attempt sort of by Marcus. I think he got caught in the spin. Dricus able to land a left hook there, knock Marcus Perez out. And then he fights Trevin Giles. I think in the first round, from what I remember, Trevin Giles loose on his feet, able to bounce around, able to deal with Dricus. And then in the second, I think he got a little bit too comfortable, stood at range on an exit, kept his hands low. And Dricus does have a long 1-2, able to land a 2 and knock out Trevin Giles. And then he gets... I believe it was Darren Till. I got to order these better, but he runs into Darren Till or Brad Tavares. He runs through Darren Till. Darren Till's takedown defense non-existent in that fight. Dricus able to get the fight down to the ground whenever he wanted, and then able to find the submission, I think, in round 3. Fought Brad Tavares. Brad Tavares, his takedown defense is elite, so we saw Dricus in on a couple of takedowns, but again, we attribute Brad Tavares' takedown defense pretty good. That fight was a very close fight, but he won a unanimous decision there in that fight. And then more recently, I think he took on Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson, again, no longer with the UFC. Derek Brunson, only 1 round of cardio, able to win that fight there for Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus Du Plessis, sorry. And then in his last fight in Vegas, I was there. He took on Robert Whitaker. That was a big step up in competition. A lot better than any of the competition that he fought up to date. But he looked good in that fight, able to get Robert Whitaker out of there in round 2 by knockout. So not a bad run for Dricus Du Plessis. On the other side, we had Sean Strickland. We saw him basically implement his game plan. Fought Abus Magomedov. We saw him lose to Alex Pereira by left hook. We watched the Israel Adesanya fight where he won the middleweight championship in the last fight. So here's what we know out of the fight tape. Okay, so they're both going to open up orthodox. And Sean Strickland, mainly a boxer, very upright stance, uses a Philly shell. So we'll see a lot of this from him. Dricus will also stand orthodox, but he likes to throw the leg kicks and leg kicks often. He does mix them up. He'll throw the right outside low kick. He'll throw the lead kick. He'll go high a couple of times with the lead leg as well, mixing in different strikes. He'll normally stand from orthodox, but he may switch to southpaw here and there. When he's in southpaw, I think he only goes to southpaw to throw the left kick. I think his left kick does come from southpaw. I don't really think I saw any right kicks from southpaw. So again, Dricus is going to be an orthodox. Sean Strickland also going to be an orthodox. It's going to be a leg kick game to start out. Dricus is going to throw them. Sean Strickland's actually very good at checking the leg kicks. He keeps the lead leg very light, kind of like Muay Thai stance, where he keeps that lead leg light. he pops it up, he shows it. He's able to check the outside low kick. So when Dricus will throw the outside low kick, I expect Sean Strickland to be able to check those. He's not as good as checking the inside leg kick, and Dricus does throw it, but he doesn't throw it with a lot of power. So I think it's about a stalemate. I don't know if he's going to find much success from Dricus throwing those outside low kicks. So then the fight comes down to, how will Dricus approach the fight? Because on the Sean Strickland side, we know a couple of things are for sure. Sean Strickland, he's going to be coming forward. Okay, so let's pull up his numbers here. I just want to give you an idea of what we know about Sean Strickland because I have it up here and available. So over his last 5 fights there, 94% of the fight has been standing. Almost 79% of that fight time he's been coming forward. Only 10% of that fight was he actually moving backwards. Some of that was against Alex Pereira. Some of that was against Abus in the first round. Time in the clinch 5%. Time attacking takedowns was 3%. 1% defending, and only 1% over the last 5 or 6 fights was Sean Strickland on the ground. We saw that in the Abus fight for a little bit, briefly in the Cannonier fight for a couple of seconds, and in the Imavov fight there. So not really much to go into in terms of the grappling. We did see some good takedown defense, good hips from Sean Strickland, so that's worth noting as well. So in terms of his shot selection, his striking tendencies, ignore this left side here, but overall, Sean Strickland is all jabs. So I'm going to clear this. We're going to go over those last couple of fights. Over the last 4 or 5 fights, Sean Strickland, 40% of his shots are jabs, single jabs. We have 18% of them are 1-2s, 11% are single 2s, and then 11% are the lead high kick. He likes that push kick with the left foot. He sometimes will go high, but most of the times it's a push kick. So 6% is that left hook, and then 5% is that 1-1-2. Again, this is over the last 4 or 5 fights. So worth noting in that breakdown when I read it through, Sean Strickland, his shot selections is a combination of a jab, a double jab, a 1-2, a single 2, or some combination of a triple jab, 1-2. He's really only throwing straights. So he's only throwing jabs and crosses, and sometimes the lead high kick. I say it's very difficult to knock out somebody with just jabs, single jabs, straight crosses. But in the Abus Magomedov fight, we saw him win by TKO. I attribute that more to Abus's 1 round of cardio. That was a 5-round fight, not really able to deal with the forward pressure. So, again, Sean Strickland able to do and make people fight his fight. He was able to make the Israel Adesanya make him fight his fight, the Jared Cannonier fight, even the Alex Pereira fight. He just has the ability of making the fights close, able to come forward, Philly shell. We talked about it in the breakdown. He keeps this high guard, and he's looking to parry any kind of straight punches. So the 1-2's up the middle, he's looking to parry. And then anything, the hooks on the outside, he's going to keep his hands up. He's going to try to intercept the hook from coming in, stopping it at the elbow. On this side, same thing. So he'll keep this high guard. So it's very hard to hit him with the hooks around his high guard. And when he's coming up the middle, he's going to parry them with the 1-2. The way that Alex Pereira was able to get to him was that you have to sort of fake a jab so that you get Sean Strickland to sort of bite on the parry, and then you go over the top with the left hook. And that's exactly what Alex Pereira did. He faked, he extended. You saw in the replay of the fight tape, go back and watch it. Sean Strickland's overextending on the parry, and then Alex Pereira able to go over the top, land the left hook, knock him out. We've seen it again in the Israel fight. Just Sean Strickland tends to have a chin. Alex Pereira, one of the heaviest hitters at middleweight, especially with that left hook. So not surprising he went down. So in this fight, will Dricus be able to replicate that? Maybe. I want to say maybe. And it really depends on how Dricus approaches this fight. Okay? If he takes the approach like Israel Adesanya, like Jared Cannonier, he tries to stay on the outside and tries to throw his leg kicks, throw the 1-2 on the outside, and he tries to circle. We know Sean Strickland's going to come forward. What we don't know is how Dricus is going to approach the forward pressure. Is he going to back up from Sean Strickland, circle the outside, keep that range, and try to stay on the outside? If so, I don't think it's going to work. We saw Israel Adesanya try to do it. Dricus is not the best striker moving backwards. He tends to cover up on the high guard while moving back. He doesn't have a ton of power moving backwards. Coming forward, he loves to blitz forward, comes through with the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. We said it looks like Vitor Belfort in that. Those are some of his strikes. I just don't think they're going to land on Strickland. I think for Dricus to have the most success here, he's going to have to work the leg kicks. They might have to he might have to eat a couple of check leg kicks, have a sore foot the next day, but he's going to have to work the leg kicks, and then he's going to have to come forward as well. Sean Strickland's going to come forward. We don't really see him moving backwards. I think Dricus has to make it a dogfight. Dricus does, I want to say, does have a decent chin. I want to say he does have good power. He's just strong. I think if Dricus can make the fight a dogfight, coming in close, not worrying about the kicks, just staying in the pocket. We've seen guys find success against Sean Strickland just knowing that he doesn't have a ton of power in his jabs. Just able to walk through the jabs, maybe eat a couple of jabs, but he has to know how to trade. So I eat one of your jabs, I throw one of my right hands, and we'll see who stands there for the longest time. So I think that's Dricus' best path to victory. I think if he tries to grapple, I don't know if he's going to find success. I think the cardio issues for Dricus is a big, big concern for me. In a 5-round fight, he's coming over from South Africa to Toronto, however long. I don't know when, obviously, he's going to fights in January, but it's a long flight. He should come over a couple of days to acclimatize to the weather, to the time zones, things like that. But his cardio concerns are always a concern with him. He's always mouth breathing within the first round or two. He said he fixed it before the Robert Whittaker fight, but we saw in the Robert Whittaker fight, it looked exactly the same. He tends to fade within those mid second round into 3, 4, 5. He's never fought a 5-round fight, so I can't even say, at the end of 5 rounds what he will look like. But I don't imagine him being able to win rounds 3, 4, and 5. I think Strickland, just based on his output, if it survives round 2, I think Sean Strickland automatically wins 3, 4, 5. So then it's up to Dricus to really cement round 1 and 2. So he's going to need a big shot maybe to get a 10-8, able to get a lead, and then he just has to hold on and try to win from there. So if Dricus can't put Strickland away within the first 2 rounds, I think he's going to have a hard time into the later rounds. I think Sean Strickland could find a finish just based on the lack of cardio. Okay, so let's give him credit and say it's just his mouth breathing, but he has an ability to fight through it, which we've seen. He's still able to throw power. If that's the case, Sean Strickland probably wins a decision. Just the strikes come a little bit slower. Sean Strickland will come forward. Dricus not able to back up and fight off of his back foot for 5 rounds. Seems like a clear Strickland decision there, or Strickland late. Again, for Dricus to win, it's going to have to be a big shot like Alex Pereira. It's just, what does Dricus bring that Sean Strickland hasn't seen? Does he bring anything that like Israel Adesanya hasn't shown him? Some Jared Cannonier hasn't shown him. Alex Pereira hasn't shown him. These are high-level strikers, and Dricus isn't one of them. He just has a combination of like good timing, good wins, lands some big shots, but he's not technical at all. Doesn't have the best takedowns, not elite on the ground. I mean, he might be able to get Strickland down, but is it going to happen for 5 rounds? I don't know. And is he going to finish Strickland? I just don't think so. Strickland's very hard to finish. So, all right. So I brought up my handy dandy tracker here. We have Sean Strickland versus Dricus Du Plessis. We're going to go through the numbers here. So let's start with the DDP side. It's a little bit easier. So Dricus Du Plessis to win by TKO. Remember, it is a 5-round fight. We saw Sean be able to get hit. He's defensively sound. I'm going to say 15%. I'm going to leave it at 15%. Win by submission. He does go for a couple of chokes. I mean, it's possible. I'm going to leave it at around 5%, maybe not much more. Let's go 10%, maybe. I think it's a little bit high, but we'll go with 10%. And to win a decision, I can't go more than 10% either. I think the cardio concerns. Okay, we'll go 15% for now. Sean Strickland to win by TKO. I think if it does happen, it's going to be in those later rounds. Sean Strickland, his shot selection not really conducive for a knockout. So we're going to put 20%. I do think it is possible. He is able to land. He locked out Abus, because of cardio issues. So 20% sounds about right. To win by submission, I'm going to say no. I'm going to leave it at 5%. And I think that's mostly between the Abus fight where he got the knockdown. Abus was on the ground, didn't take a second to think about the submission, continue with the ground and pound. The takedowns that he looks for are more opportunistic takedowns in a scramble. He's able to get it down to the ground, but he's not really looking to keep him there. Even when he has the clinches against the fence, when he has double underhooks, Sean Strickland's not really looking to throw him or trip him. I think Sean Strickland wants to fight a Sean Strickland fight, and that means boxing in range. So I don't think the submission is there. The win by decision, I do think it is very possible here. So I'm up to about 40% for now. I'm going to leave it at 40%. Let's see. So we're off by 5%. So I got to take away 5%. Is it going to come by DDP by TKO? No, I'm going to leave it. Okay, so I'm going to take off the sub. DDP by sub I think is a little bit too high, just because Sean Strickland is not going to be engaging in the grappling. It's going to be, if anything, Dricus looking for the takedown, and then Dricus has to get the takedown, get him into guard, move to full, or like Dricus likes the side control to full mount, so maybe he gets him to side control, maybe he gets to full mount, then Sean Strickland rolls over, gives up his back. Very unlikely, so I'm going to leave it at 5%. So to recap, Sean Strickland to win by TKO 20%, to win by submission 5%, to win by decision 40%. Dricus to win by TKO 15%, 5% to win by submission, and 15% to win by decision. Overall, I have a total money line of 65%. That's a line of minus 186 or better. On the Dricus Du Plessis side, I have 35% or plus 186 or better. As of right now, none of those props are out in terms of win by TKO, win by sub. So that's sort of where I think the fight should be, or the line should be. I know right now the Sean Strickland opened up like minus 170. It got up. I saw Sean Strickland touch minus 120 at some points. I think now he's down to minus 150. So I will probably end up on that side just based on my analysis, based on how I think the fights will go. When the prop bets come out, I'll try to look at some of those prop bets as well. And I do think this is a good fight to live bet. I think if Dricus does have some success again, it's going to be in round one, but Sean Strickland probably takes over in round two if it gets there. So decent live betting spot. Set your alarms. Make sure that you're aware of it. Like and subscribe so that you get the best content that we post out. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know down below in the comments just what we can do better, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. We're just always looking to learn and grow with this channel. So I appreciate you watching it. Thank you for your time. Again, my name is Art C, and this is Fighting Stats. Hopefully we see you at the window cashing those Sean Strickland tickets. Best of luck. Okay, guys. Well, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe. You'll get notified anytime we put out new content. Again, my name is Art C. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Electrocute. This is Fighting Stats, the ultimate source for exclusive and in-depth MMA statistics and best bets. We'll see you guys at the window.